What's going on, beautiful people? How you guys doing today, man? This is Making Sense. Roastar Sports coming to you live and front and center. Hey, listen, man, let's just get straight to it. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel. Listen, guys, we are almost there, man. We're almost there. I just need 8 more subscriptions, man, to get to 50. And of course, we don't want to stop at 50, but I need eight more subscriptions to get to 50 so that I can download, not necessarily download, I'm sorry, but I can do live videos. I need to get to 8 subscriptions more to get to 50 so that I can do the lives and take this thing to another level, hopefully. I'm at the grassroots of doing this. A lot of guys are professionals at this. I'm at the grassroots starting point. I really appreciate a lot of you guys that left me messages, inbox me to tell me to keep going. Appreciate my content. Appreciate me for bringing what I, in my perspective, about our Dallas Cowboys. I really appreciate you guys, man. So please subscribe to the channel, share the video, share the content. Let's try to get this thing moving to a point where, hey man, it'll be a blessing to everybody, especially to talk about these Cowboys. And yeah, we got a lot of haters. You involved too. You are invited to join in with us to talk about Cowboy football. Hey, the criticism is welcome. We never take anything to heart over here. I know I don't. Take anything to heart, any negativity. But nonetheless, you're welcome. Now that that's out the way, I don't know why Skip Bayless is a Dallas Cowboy fan. I don't know. Skip Bayless, I think Skip Bayless is a undercover Patriots fan. I don't think that he's in a sabbatical because Tom Brady is no longer with the Patriots, but he was always talking about Tom Brady. But I think that he is a undercover Patriots fan. He's not a Cowboy fan because he has more criticism over the Cowboys than praise or appreciation for our team. And of course, I call him Sherman Williams, but Richard Sherman is right alongside of him as well. And one thing, I don't pay attention to the show, but I just listen to a lot of the criticisms that comes out of a allegedly, supposedly Cowboy fan in these guys. I don't get it. So. For all intents and purposes, I really don't understand what these guys. Well, we understand Sherman, Richard Sherman. We just don't understand Skip Bayless. So I don't even think Skip Bayless understands Skip Bayless. I just don't understand. I don't think he understands himself in terms of, what spews out of his mouth continuously about the Dallas Cowboys. Listen, everybody knows that Jerry Jones did not lay out the blueprint in terms of what he was going to do during the offseason. He just didn't do it. I mean, most of the time, or normal, if we say normality, Jerry Jones does generally give you insight leading up to what he's about to do. Well, this year he didn't do it. Jerry Jones didn't do it. The Cowboys didn't do it. He left everybody, including the fans, in awe, in speculation. Stephen A. Smith didn't know. Shannon Sharp didn't know. A lot of these guys just didn't know. Skip Bayless didn't have a clue. He was just reaching for straws. He didn't know. But it just never ceased to amaze me that a person who allegedly knows football and knows the Dallas Cowboys and loves the franchise has no clue about what he talks about. I listen to Fish. Fish is very intuitive with the Dallas Cowboys and what they the moves that they're about to make. He didn't have a clue. He was in awe. I listen to Chat Sports. Most of the time they're in left field, but it's entertaining. You know, their little analogies, their shot glass promos. It's entertaining. Law Nation is always on point. And like the rest of us, just like scratching his head about what the moves the Cowboys are going to make. Mark Holmes scratching his head about what the Cowboys are going to make. Dak Attack scratching his head about what the Cowboys are going to make. Although Dak Attack is a lot more in the loop in terms of news, tabloids, references relating to the Dallas Cowboys. Excellent about bringing out the information about Dak Prescott's legal issues, which we know now is not an issue. We don't know whether or not, we don't know what the lead up was that dropped the case. Let's just be happy the case is over. Hopefully the case is over. We don't know whether she got paid under the table. We don't know whether or not they just said, look, you don't have a case. You don't even have a case to win this. We don't know. All we do know is that it has been dropped. We do know that there's no charges filed against him or pending. We do know that, and that Dak Prescott now was in the clear to focus on football and not his legal issues. And let's hope that, like Ezekiel Elliott, this can be a learning curve. This can be for whatever the learning curve was, because we don't know specifically intel what transpired between he and that young lady. We just don't know. So we can just kill the speculation talks right now. I mean, and move on and focus on football. But you know, there's been a lot of news that has transpired, and nobody really can finger point how we ended up with Ezekiel Elliott leading up to what all in meant. Well, let's dive into that a little bit, because if you listen to the Skip Bayless mindset, he will make it appear that Ezekiel Elliott numbers are just throw up, astounding, stupid, crazy, ridiculous. Well, the Dallas Cowboys in the red zone last year without Ezekiel Elliott. Let's look at that. Let's take a look at that right quick. I mean, because I pulled it up and I took it off. I wasn't going to talk about it, but let's take a look at that. Let's do it like this. We know that the Cowboys numbers, and I really dislike where I am right now, because I just felt it in my heart, to my knees, to pull over and talk about this. I'm in an area where the reception is horrible. The reception is horrible. It's ridiculous. I'm not getting good reception, but nonetheless, I've done it before. I've read it. I looked at it, looked it up, examined it, compared it to the league. The Dallas Cowboys were horrific in the red zone compared to when they had one Ezekiel Elliott as their bell cow. Now, Ezekiel Elliott may not be getting all the yards that he once had, and I can contribute that as a running back, used to be. I can contribute that to lack of productivity with your offensive line. Okay? Which is the reason why Dak Prescott implemented in his strategy getting rid of the football, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, getting rid of the football quicker. Get your reads quicker. Get rid of the football quicker. 3-step drop, football is out. That's how you do it. And they did that primarily because the running game was suffering because our offensive line was handicapped with the missing of Tyron Smith. Zach Martin was hurt. Frederick was not part of the offense. He came back for a piece of a season and they had to retire. There was he's still not the answer for me. So there were a lot of different pieces, different issues that the Cowboys had on that offensive line. And anybody that played the game, especially in a running back position, they know how important that offensive line and the cohesiveness that the offensive line need to be. They have to be in sync. All right? The offensive line has to be in sync. I do that because sometimes, in television, I act a little bit as well, did a little bit of acting, a little bit of commercials and stuff like that. They'll tell you not to be obvious with what's in your mouth, but they'll tell you to chew gum because gum helps you not to yarn. All right? And I don't want to be disrespectful and yarn. I prefer to chew the gum than to yarn. So now, the offensive line needs to be in sync in order for a running back to be effective. They have to know their assignments. They have to think on one accord. They got to know what each other is thinking and what each other is going to do on a said play in order for our running back to be effective. And I was the main one that was telling everybody when they said, oh, Pollard is the answer. Pollard is the answer. Oh, man, you ever seen Pollard run? Man, I've been watching Pollard. Pollard been getting his man. I said, listen, man, calm down. Calm down. First and foremost, Pollard is a scat back. Ezekiel Elliott is a power back. And when you got fresh legs coming in to the game, he's going to make it appear that he's better than our bell cow, the featured back. But that's not the case. When you are the man, if you become the man, and the Dallas Cowboys seen it firsthand, they're not going to tell you that Rowe is right. They're not going to tell you that. But at the end of the day, I'm right when it comes to running backs, knowing running backs and how running backs need to thrive in the backfield to get through the second phase or to get to the second phase. First phase is the defensive line. Second phase is, now you're able to do your thing, which is the reason why Emmett was so good getting to the secondary, because secondary are reaching for legs and Emmett is patting down hands to prevent them from grabbing hold of tackle. Emmett was very good at that. Zeke is just another back. Zeke just want to get to the next level because Zeke knows that if he gets to the next level, there are very few people that want to take that chance to tackle him. Very few players want to tackle Ezekiel Elliott in the second phase of the defense. These guys are going to be arm tackling. I mean, take a look at Trayvon Diggs. Now, Trayvon Diggs really made me upset 2 years ago during the San Francisco game when he wasn't tackling, arm tackling. He was throwing his body up against players, and Deebo Samuels is bouncing off of him like, what was that? Was that a fly? I mean, what was that? So very few players like Deebo Samuels, Ezekiel Elliott, are willing to tackle an Ezekiel Elliott in the second phase of the defense, which brings me to the point of red zone. When you got Ezekiel Elliott in the red zone, there are few people that's going to stop this brother. And he was the Dallas Cowboys red zone threat 2 years ago. He was the red zone threat, which made me spin my head to figure out why the Cowboys were willing to get rid of Ezekiel Elliott, knowing that the percentages of us scoring a touchdown in the red zone was extremely high. Extremely high. You didn't have that with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is forever going to be remembered for getting to the red zone, getting on the 1 yard line twice, and sniffing it but couldn't get in it. And we all scratching like, oh my God. You mean to tell me you couldn't get in right there? You can fall in the end zone right there. But we didn't miss it. Listen to Skippy Peanut Butter and listen to Sherman Williams. The Dallas Cowboys made the wrong moves. What they failed to mention to you guys is this. During the draft, the Dallas Cowboys were handicapped. They just were. Where the Dallas Cowboys fell in terms of draft picks and draft opportunities was ugly. It was an ugly hand that the Dallas Cowboys had dealt to them to pick. So they were looking at probably trying to get a running back around the fourth or maybe in between the fourth and the sixth round. That wasn't going to happen. And yeah, they did a lot of trading, but the trading was to get the skill positions that they needed to fill. Left tackle, guard, cornerback, linebacker, defensive end. Those are positions that you need. You need. So, of course, they're going to evaluate in the mindset of Keyshawn Johnson, because that was already there, Keyshawn. The Dallas Cowboys looked at what was left over. This is how you understand the drafting selection, or where you're going to be eventually picking. Dallas Cowboys was picking crumbs from the table. They were really just going through leftovers. Like, can any of these players outdo Ezekiel Elliott? No. They wasn't getting Trey Benson. They wasn't getting Brooks. They wasn't getting any of the top tier running backs that fell in the draft. The Cowboys wasn't going to get any of those because they were coming off the board like candy in a store. You remember when 5 guys just came out? Not 5 guys, but 5 and below just came out. Everybody and their grandmama in there. But you ain't got no money like that. And even though it was, but by the time you went in, because when you heard about it, by the time you went in, you was picking over stuff like, man, there's nothing here. This is what the Cowboys had to go through this season. We knew going in that this is going to be an ugly draft selection for the Dallas Cowboys. We knew this going in. We knew that the Dallas Cowboys was going to have an ugly draft. But we did understand that the players, even the players that they wanted on the offensive line, the defensive line, the linebacker, we knew, because I wanted Dallas to get Jeremiah Trotter Jr., but guess what? It wasn't going to get him. It wasn't going to get him. It wasn't going to get him. It was not going to get him. It wasn't going to get him. And it's because of where they fell in the draft. Okay? So, of course, you wanted Dallas to get Fashanu. You wanted Dallas to probably get Powers, Jackson Powers. You probably wanted Dallas to get a plethora of players, including Trey Benson or Brooks. I wasn't 100% on Brooks because Brooks had an ACL tear, and we know how that go. I don't want Dallas picking up another player like, and that God bless his soul, Jalen Smith, who had another major injury, and we're looking at it and holding our breath like Evangelist had another injury because Evangelist had injuries in college with his neck. So they took on liabilities. I don't want the Cowboys taking on more liabilities. We don't want the Cowboys doing that. We want the Cowboys to get some homegrown players. So they had to end up getting some blue collar players, some steel workers, some mind workers, and hopefully put them in the positions where we may have ended up with a gem. We don't know, but hopefully that is the case. So listen to Skippy Peanut Butter and Sherman Williams. Don't pay them any attention. Because Keyshawn can be in left field too, but this time around, Keyshawn was on point. Talking about that dude right there, Ezekiel Elliott. I'm going to go all in on Zeke because he's young and Zeke can do it. Given the opportunity, build him a line, build him a wall, and Zeke gonna run through it. Period. Hey man, that's my time. I'm coming back, and I promise you I'm coming back live this afternoon or this evening sometime around 7:30 or 8. I'm coming on live. Once again, I'll be on the computer. Live meaning that I need 50 subscriptions is live on the phone. I can't go live on the phone unless I have 50 subscriptions. And I got to get that from us, man. I need you guys support to make that happen. I'm making sense. Roadstar Sports. Let's do it. I'm working on a podcast with Podbean. And hey man, let's just do the doggone thing. Let's make it work like a hooker in a skirt. How about them Cowboys, man? We in it to win it. Somebody got to begin it. 7:30, coming on live. Let's get it.